Kunal both rather joining in on the technicals. Let's get started then by talking about the first stock in focus and all of the NBFCs, particularly Mubina. Walk us through the news. What did the RBI say last evening?
Yes, all the NBFCs today are going to be in focus because remember the RBI has relaxed norms for securitization transactions by NBFCs. Securitization essentially is an off-balance sheet method of getting some money onto the books. They've eased the holding period requirement for originating NBFCs. This is for 5-year maturity loans. Of course, there's the MRR or minimum retention requirement, which will be at 20% of the book value of loans. But on account of this, we've seen an uptick come by in NBFCs because there is now hope that these easing of norms will cause liquidity to be eased up a little more. And India Bulls, in fact, is saying that 12 to 15,000 crore rupees of home loan securitization is possible immediately. And you are seeing that 1.5% jump in the stock price.
Okay, that's the take coming in from India Bulls, what they said to the channel as well as the news that has come in. Moving on then, it's Federal Bank and yet again it's on the radar. Let's talk a little bit about the moves. And Kunal, you know, the counter, while it's active in trade today, continues to face resistance around that 100 mark. Where exactly are you seeing it rally to?
So yes, it has a couple of resistances at those 3-digit mark. But when I look at it on the longer term basis, Avan, I think the stock from 125 when it started correcting, same time last year, I think October 2017 approximately, it formed a downward sloping channel. And I think after yesterday's move and a confirmation on the monthly charts as well, the stock has now shown signs of a strong breakout of this downward sloping channel, which I believe is an extremely positive sign for the stock price. So on a positional basis, I believe Federal Bank could be a good buy. 95 should be an immediate target and stoppers could be kept at 80.
All right, that's a Federal Bank for you, active in trade today. Moving right on, let's focus on a multiplex stock, and that's Inox Leisure. Vivek, why is it in focus today?
Well, Inox Leisure, a lot of things have happened. The main thing that has happened is that the company promoters, and remember here the company promoters actually Gujarat Fluorochem, they're all part of the same group. And what the company has done is that they've done a preferential issue, and almost 6 crore shares, 6.5 million shares is what they've actually gone ahead and subscribed to from Gujarat Fluorochem. Other than that, what has actually happened is that the main reason for this fundraising activity from the promoter, CLSA believes that such kind of preferential issue mainly indicates that the company is gearing up for a big acquisition. CLSA believes that most likely the acquisition should be in southern India, given the fact that the multiplex space in southern India is something that's not been really penetrated very well. So they believe at this point of time, Inox Leisure is filling up its coffers to most likely go ahead and make a big acquisition in the multiplex space.
Oh, that'll be interesting and we'll have to watch out for that. But for now, the stock in anticipation of all of that news is at 215. Let's keep it with the media space, but let's talk about Sun TV then, and this one is on the brokerage radar. In fact, HSBC maintains a hold on the counter, but they've slashed the target and quite significantly at that. From 855 to 703, they believe that the company is continuing to see a decline in market share and that their investment requirements will now increase. So pressure going to come in according to HSBC, which is why the stock is sulking in trade today, down nearly 4%. Moving on then, it's Bata India, and what kind of positions are we seeing in the derivatives market today, Siddharth?
Long positions are one, and substantial rise in open interest over here. Prices are high, which means these are long positions. Secondly, it is breaching its resistance of 1030, and last point I want to mention over here is that the volumes in first 2.5 hours of today's trading session have already surpassed last 2 days volume. So you can understand the kind of momentum and the kind of interest people are having in Bata India, both in cash as well as future segment.
Keep an eye out, long positions 1034. Well, let's move on to large caps then, and it's Reliance Industries that's catching eyeballs at 1179. Swati, where do you see the upside levels?
See, Avan, as of now, Reliance is doing really very good. It's just trading in a higher tops, higher bottom formation from the last 1 month, which indicates a potential up move. I believe upside 1210, that is 1210, 1220 is the likely target on the upside, whereas the support is placed at 1150. So those who are having any long position, they can definitely hold on for an immediate target of a 1210, 1220 with a stop loss of a 1150.
Keep an eye out. That's the take coming in on Reliance Industries at 1170. 79 rather. Moving on to another large cap, and Mubina, walk us through what's going on with Tata Motors and what are brokerages saying as well.
Well, for Tata Motors, the market is really spooked on account of another temporary halt in JLR's operations. This time it's the engine factory that's been halted for a 2-week production freeze. Do remember the last time they did so on account of slow sales of JLR in China, and thus to rebalance the inventory they actually had to halt production. So this time around as well, I guess the market is a bit spooked. UBS is maintaining a neutral stance, but they've cut the target to 200 rupees from 280 rupees as they believe that China is adding to the uncertainty and India trucks as well are peaking. The stock is down for 4 out of the last 5 trading sessions and it's trading below all of the key DMAs.
All right, under pressure, clearly that is Tata Motors at 173. Well, let's move on then to SpiceJet, and what exactly is the news that's coming in from the government sources regarding aviation? Vivek?
Well, that's right, Avan. Along with SpiceJet, both the airline counters would be in focus, and this is going to be a very major developing story. So what we understand is that a lot of the aviation companies, including SpiceJet, even an unlisted company, Go Air, actually went and met the aviation secretary, and they went and sought relief on the high aviation turbine fuel cost and the tax that they are paying. And this is something that's been hurting airlines for quite some time now. So what they are saying is that the fall in crude prices must be passed on to OMCs, which they believe. At the same time, they believe that they should also get some amount of relief as far as the taxation towards them is concerned. And what has actually happened is that they've actually asked for aviation turbine fuel to be brought under GST as well. And this is something that's going to be quite significant. And in case that happens, all of these companies would be something that'll be impacted quite significantly.
All right, keep an eye out on all the aviation stocks that are going to be in focus. Next up is Equitas, that's holding out close to 0.5% in trade. In fact, yesterday post-market hours, there was news of a bulk deal where Kotak Mahindra Mutual Fund sold shares. In fact, quite a significant number, close to 25.8 lakh shares. This was at a price point of nearly 106 rupees per share. The stock in focus on the back of that news, but it's holding out in the green. Moving on then, REC, and no surprises then, Sid, to see it on the losers list.
Consecutive day, one that stock is correcting, and correcting how we are seeing very high volumes in cash market segment in last 2 trading sessions. This is not a stock which shows very high volumes on expiry day, but then yesterday's volume was substantially high. Today too, in last 2.5 hours, we have done almost 33-40% of previous day's volume, and stock is correcting, forming short positions. Supports are still far away around 95-96 odd levels. So don't be surprised if you see further downside in this name.
All right, more downside on the cards, 104 struggling in trade. Tell you what, let's take a quick breather, come right back. Countdown continues on Market Fatafat.
In association with Rado. Maximize your earnings and savings with 6% interest on Yes Bank savings account. Yes Bank. India Bole Yes.
Switch to BlackBerry. Win a car every week.
सर फिरे ये मेरे कदम कहाँ से आगे बढ़ा करते थे। अब तेरे लिए ये संभलते हैं। मैं से हम हुए मेरे कदम। अपनी सुरक्षा यानी अपनों की सुरक्षा। बढ़ाइए कदम SBI लाइफ के प्रोटेक्शन प्लान्स की तरफ। यही है मैं से हम का कदम।
जैसी चॉइस सबकी मिलेगी चॉइस। दुकान मकान या बिल्डिंग ऑफिस सबकी मिलेगी चॉइस। 1 2 3 before started BHK, bungalows, villas, flats, hot gear. Jesse, choice, choice, up की choice, choice, choice.
Times Network India Economic Conclave, where India's $5 trillion agenda takes shape.
Presenting partner Capital First. Our partner Raven Group Cables and Wires. Partner QNet.
25 शाखाओं के पूर्ति के अवसर पर 20 अक्टूबर से 30 नवंबर तक सोने चांदी के सभी गहनों के मेकिंग चार्जेस पर 20% छूट। PN गाड़िया एंड सन्स लिमिटेड 1832 से।
Introducing Vico Turmeric in Oil Base with a moisturizing effect. It's Ayurvedic with properties of turmeric that repair and nourish even the driest skin, preventing it from itching that cause rashes, making your skin beautiful and radiant all year round. The new Vico Turmeric in Oil Base. It moisturizes and it heals.
We all share this world, share the same hopes and dreams. You dream of a future that respects the environment. We find ways of making cities use less energy. It's why we're optimistic about the future. BASF, we create chemistry.
Switch to BlackBerry. Win a car every week.
Welcome back. This is Market Fatafat. Let's get it right back to the countdown, and it's Torrent Power that's in focus. In fact, Kunal, let's understand where exactly you see the stock headed.
It's on the verge of a strong breakout, Avan, and after a consolidation, when you see such kind of breakouts backed by strong volumes, those breakouts tend to last long. To couple it up, Torrent Power is also a very high beta name. So if any kind of breakout gets sustained, the stock generally provides a swift momentum. So that's what I'm expecting would happen for Torrent Power, suggesting a buy with 280 as a target, and stop loss could now be revised to almost 260.
All right, watch out. That's the take coming in on Torrent Power. Moving right on, let's focus in on the overall telecom space, and yet again Vodafone Idea is in the red. Mubina, what's the latest?
Well, turns out that CRISIL has actually downgraded Vodafone Idea's non-convertible debentures of 6,000 crore rupees, that's almost $860 million, to A positive with a negative outlook from AA negative. They've also reaffirmed the rating, however, on the CP program, so that's all right. Do remember that this is a company that has, in the midst of all of the turmoil with respect to, that has been brought about by Jio, of course, has had to merge with Idea in order to consolidate their operations. Additionally, we also had the TRAI pulling up Airtel and Vodafone Idea on their minimum recharge plans for warning subscribers of certain plans, that may have terms and conditions applied to it. But yes, it's this downgrade largely, and that too on bonds of such a high amount, that has caused this tumble to come back in the stock price.
Okay, keep an eye out. That is Vodafone Idea in trade, yet again under pressure. Moving on then, let's also talk a little bit about HUL. Lots of news surrounding this one. What are they saying when it comes to M&A deals, Vivek?
Well, that's right, Avan. Avan, it's all about the Horlicks brand and how GSK Consumer is looking to sell this particular brand. So a lot of names have been in the race. You've heard ITC, you've heard a couple of foreign names, you've heard HUL too, Unilever too, that's looking to actually go ahead and buy Horlicks at this point of time. So what the Indian listed arm of Unilever has said is that they've actually confirmed that at most points they do evaluate M&A opportunities, M&A proposals from time to time. In fact, they're also saying that they may be open to a merger of their Indian arm with some other brands that may come in. So at this point of time, HUL appears to be the front runner according to reports, and it'll be interesting to see if and when they do acquire Horlicks, what kind of brand synergies that they can get in, given the fact that Horlicks is a higher margin brand compared to most of the brands that Unilever has in its portfolio in India.
Oh yes, that would definitely be a game changer, but we'll have to wait and watch which way the deal spins. 1763 on HUL. Moving on, let's talk a little bit about another stock, and that is a banking stock. Yes, bank on the radar. In fact, finally seeing a rebound in this share for the first time in the last 6 trading sessions after the management has clarified the stance on the ownership in Morgan Credits as well as exposure to developers and the current financial situation of the company. In fact, you are seeing good recovery kick into the stock. It's priced in the negatives related to the downgrades by ICRA. You also had Moody's as well. So that's the latest coming in with Yes Bank. As recently, remember, media reports had suggested that investment firms had borrowed money from mutual funds and invested it as equity in a finance company. Moving on from Yes Bank, it's Coal India at number 15. Siddharth, take us through the levels.
All these PSU names are underperforming. Avan, November series has been great, but names like BHEL, NTPC, ONGC, Coal India, they have been in a downward spiral move. Coal India has now moved towards its strong support of 240, still a couple of percentage point away from those levels. But then we are seeing huge pile-up of position in today's trading session. What is missing is volume. So watch out for this 240 levels. Time and again, Coal India has shown a decent bounce back from these levels.
Okay, keep an eye out on those levels. For now, strong support at 240. Moving on then to Pharma and Swati. Where do you see a breakout on Aurobindo?
See, Aurobindo Pharma is really doing very well among the different pharma packs. The weekly chart indicates that it's just forming a cup and handle pattern and just on the verge of giving a breakout of 810. I'm just waiting for that breakout. Once it manages to give a breakout of 810, I believe this rally is likely to be continued towards 840, 860 odd levels. And I believe 780, 790 is still a very good support formation has been seen. So those who are looking for a buy, they can buy only above 810 levels for immediate target of 840 and 860 with a stop loss of a 790 on a downside.
That's the level, buy above 810. Meantime, let's flag off number 17, Asian Oilfields. Mubina, what's the contract that it's received?
Well, the company announced yesterday that it received a contract of about 27.5 crore rupees. This it has received from ONGC for essentially hiring of services for 2D seismic data acquisition in land areas of sedimentary basin, which is near the Himalayan foreland. And they have received the letter of award as well. They've initiated the acceptance as well as the execution of the same. And on account of that order win, we are seeing an uptick combined with stock price.
All right, that's Asian Oilfields for you. A nice spike up is what you're seeing in trade. Moving on to number 18, and Vivek, let's chat a little bit about TCS. It's been a favorable verdict.
Well, that's right, Avan. In fact, if you look at the chart of TCX, this was a very big overhang as far as the stock was concerned, given the fact that not only TCS, a lot of Indian IT companies were actually facing a lot of lawsuits from employees who had been hired abroad, given the fact that they actually alleged that a lot of these companies were employing unfair employee practices, and which is why this particular verdict, especially for TCS, that says that in this particular discrimination lawsuit, TCS has been given a favorable verdict, and which is why you're actually seeing a relief rally as far as TCS is concerned. Even other companies like Infosys and Wipro have such cases against them, and it will be interesting to see what is the outcome of these particular cases.
All right, watch out for TCS, up a good 1% at 1979. With that, we're out of time, so we'll wrap it up right here on the show. Thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned. We've got Markets at Noon coming up after a very short break.
Earn higher interest with 7.85% on Yes Bank fixed deposit. Senior citizens earn 8.35%. Yes Bank. India bole yes.
You are on top of the world with Times Network. And you're watching ET Now.
Switch to BlackBerry. Win a car every week.
GM Online presents India's finest workplaces. This week we feature Schwabe India, a pharma company which believes in building a family culture at the workplace.
If you see, because what